folks. Welcome back to Held Captive Media. You may know me as the guy that, didn't come up with an intro for this. Give me 1 second here. You may know me as the guy that's introducing Zane.
Oh my God.
And Franny.
I was about to say, you better be introducing me too.
I guess.
Not just saying.
No, I'm just kidding. I love it.
Wow.
The thing I was going to say, I felt like...
I'm head out.
I feel like it was so good that I've realized I can't say it because it's the first 30 seconds, and I was like, let's let that one slide. Anyway, guys, today we're here to talk about The Faculty. So, The Faculty is a science fiction horror teen comedy produced by Dimension Films. The Faculty was actually the breakout role for Josh Hartnett. Well, it kind of was. He actually shot his first 2 films at the exact same time. He was offered both great roles from his management and struck a deal between both productions in order to shoot them at the same time. So the whole time while he's shooting this movie, his first movie, he's shooting his other first movie, Halloween H2O. He shoots 2 days at this place, 2 days at this place. It brought him everywhere. Other than that mega fan fact for Josh Hartnett fans, nobody talks about this Robert Rodriguez directed film. It isn't brought up much at all because this movie is hated by some and beloved by others as a misunderstood gem. And maybe that's me, maybe it's not, we'll see. The Faculty follows 6 polar opposite students that attend Harrington High that band together when their school in a small town, Ohio, is taken over by, wait for it, aliens.
Gasp.
So The Faculty. So The Faculty has sort of an interesting history that I want to just slightly dip into before we get into the spoiler stuff. The Faculty's goal was to be, and this is what it was pitched as when it was being created, The Thing meets Scream. They wanted a sci-fi horror thriller that was self-aware in the same way Scream was around the same time. And I think that if people would have understood that, maybe not as much with the marketing, because the marketing was very teen-based. This is going to be like a high school-esque movie. It's a lot smarter than it came off in its marketing, so maybe that could be a part of the reason why it didn't do that well for some people. For me, without getting into more spoilers, I give The Faculty a 7. Zane, what do you think of The Faculty?
So it's interesting that it was pitched as, when I was watching it, I found it to be very much almost like if The Breakfast Club was a horror movie instead. It is the pinnacle of a teen movie, and it's so much fun for that. I'm actually gonna give my rating before I kind of go into a little bit of what I thought about it. I'm gonna give this a 5, not because I thought it was just flat 5 material. It felt like the movie was trying to be a 5, but the perfect version of what just a base movie could be. It was just a lot of fun. It was meant to be entertaining. There was some dumb jokes. There was some smart jokes. It was just a good movie, full stop. And that's something that I really enjoyed it for, was just kind of there was points that I was like, oh, well, that's a little ridiculous. And I'm like, no,
well,
it's trying to be ridiculous.
We can get more into it then. Franny, what were your thoughts? What's your review of this?
Yeah, this is my second time watching this movie. I'm glad because I fell asleep this time.
You're not kidding either. You
yeah,
really did.
I knocked out hard. But I think this movie, I kind of side with the more it's trying to be like Scream with an alien twist. I think but yeah, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a bit self-aware. It is kind of a middle of the road movie for me too. I enjoy it a little more than just putting it at middle of the road. I'd say it's a 6 for me. I mean, Clea Duvall definitely gives it a point.
Definitely.
And Usher.
I also wouldn't say that I'm not hating on it.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Guys, that was our scores. Let's get into the spoiler talk now. What do you guys think? Let's just dive straight into it. I mean, if you want to see the movie, it's a fun science fiction horror movie. You guys kind of have an idea of where we land on it. So
yeah,
either,
it's not that deep. Either watch it or not.
So either pause it, go watch it now, come back, watch the spoilers with us, or just get right into the spoilers if you don't give a fudge, which might be the case. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. I don't know if you just waited for this part of the video to start, or you just watch an hour and 48-minute movie, or however long it is, but welcome back. Now, guys, I just want to bring this up about the movie. The parallels it draws with Scream, in my opinion, are almost inarguable. I know that people don't like when people say that it's similar to Scream, but they quite literally followed character archetypes. I mean, the Stokely character is Jamie Kennedy's character from Scream. Well aware of the rules of the plot, kind of an outcast in their own way. It's so similar that I think the biggest critique I have of this movie is that it's a love letter to sci-fi, right? And it has all these great sci-fi horror themes in it. It's basically got the scene from The Thing where they were taking the shit, and putting in their blood, but instead with this they were snorting pen dust, caffeine pills. But it's the same idea. And then Invasion of the Body Snatchers, all that stuff. But it's not really wholly original. And I don't mean that as like necessarily a negative thing if you're trying to make a movie that's based on other things and like homage it. But I just felt like there wasn't enough like soul in it to be considered its own entity in a way, where it sort of was just like a really long parody of horror films and horror. And the thing about Scream is that Scream succeeds more because it's actually a good story on its own without the self-referential moments. And I think that this movie really suffers from that.
It almost makes it like unmemorable because of how like soulless it feels in a way.
It's not like so soulless. It's just like it's so by the numbers in some ways.
See, I don't feel like soulless paints it in the right light. It's more so like it felt like it was trying to be a fun teen horror movie.
Yeah.
And in that, it perfectly succeeded. It was a good little watch, but like it perfectly did what it felt like it set out to do. And that's why I say it's a perfect 5, because it's like, it's not over here trying to like reinvent cinema, but it's just a fun watch. And I enjoyed it for that. And I feel like as long as you kind of remember that while you're watching it, you get to, instead of seeing it as like, oh, they were just ripping that off, it's like, oh, they were having fun with it, and they brought up this thing from another IP that I love. And
I mean, almost endlessly, though. In the same way that Scream did, it was like every other scene was like, we're going to reference this other sci-fi thriller movie, and, that's awesome to an extent, but it's why it kind of sits at a 7 for me, because it didn't really didn't really subvert my expectations.
That's
in a way
why I was
either.
surprised you gave it a 7, because I feel like 7 feels fairly
here's
high.
the ultimate thing, though. It is fucking wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
And I always consider when I'm rating a movie is like, okay, where does this rank for movies in general, especially of the genre? It's probably more of like 5 or a 6, right? But this is a lot more fucking fun than some of that genre. A lot of things in the sci-fi horror sphere, especially the older stuff, is so painstakingly serious and being so earnest and taking these lizard monsters so fucking seriously.
Right.
And that's the thing that I really liked about it. I was like, yeah, this is ridiculous, and everybody is confronting that truth in this film. And I also think that the introduction of the characters, like after, the whole faculty scene, and then you're seeing Elijah Wood's balls hit a flagpole.
Yeah.
That whole segment for me, too, is just like so campy and corny that maybe there was a point in time where I really enjoyed that part. But now I'm just like, I would love to fast forward through this part because I get it. I understand. You don't have to throw it in my face. I understand who the characters are. But even then, there's moments of that scene that are really funny. When Sean knocks into Stokely and just goes, "You were in," like she says, "Watch where you're going," and he's just like, "You ran into me, beast." I love beast. I thought that was so fucking funny.
I feel like there are such good parts to that and such drawbacks.
Yeah,
because,
definitely. Some of it aged really poorly. I mean, you have like a couple that are credited in the film, and they spend the entire movie domestically abusing one another. Yeah. So there is some of this that is trapped in 1990s, right? Like there really is an element of that. And then I think because also there's such a line between Halloween H2O and The Faculty for me, both being Josh Hartnett's first movies made at the same time, that in a weird way I compare them. And I know for a fact that Josh Hartnett acts way better in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's because I feel like a lot of the things I even don't like about this movie from Robert Rodriguez were incredibly intentional. And I see some of that goofier stuff happening later in his career, like with the Spy Kids movie, shit like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
he directed Spy Kids?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Robert Rodriguez, yeah.
Bare minimum, it's Dimension Studios.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm
It's
pretty
the
sure it was
same.
Robert Rodriguez.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
And I guess we'll
I
get
like
fact check
that.
in the comments. I know that he's a part of it definitively because he's producing the new Spy Kids stuff too.
What?
Yeah.
There's new Spy Kids stuff?
Like you're gonna fucking care? Are you kidding me? Like it's not gonna relate to you at all.
Yeah, that's
Hello?
true, I guess.
Spy Kids was
yeah.
dope when we were kids because we're like, we're kids too. Now you're like an adult and you're like, why are they letting this child fight adults? Like that's probably gonna be.
That's fair.
Why does this child care about face tuning their selfies when they're fighting fucking
The
thumb people?
Thumb people still haunt my nightmares. So
Yeah.
Fair.
it's-
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that's really fair because they are scary as hell.
Yeah.
But
Scarier
are
than the
they-
monster in that.
Are you sure though? Because
Dude, I don't know.
the Jon Stewart scene of it all was so fucking funny.
Dude, I fucking love Jon Stewart.
Like that's the thing. We can say this movie's bad, but at the same time, we're like,
It's not
I really
bad.
like
I
this
had
part.
such a
I
fun
really
time
like this
watching it.
part.
It was
Yeah.
fun. It's not that serious.
No.
And that's,
It's-
I
it
think
was
that as
fun,
long
though.
as you go into it knowing
Yeah.
that, you're going to have a great time. Like, I absolutely would recommend this movie to people if they were like, oh, hey, I was
And we
thinking about
all
turning on
watched
the
this
Faculty.
together, kinda.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I say kinda because Franny fell asleep, but we all watched this
We
together.
had I'll give her the benefit. She's been
It was a long
narcoleptic.
day.
It was a long
I
day.
was up for
I
24
was
hours.
almost passing out towards
Yeah,
the end
it was
of
a
that. So,
long
yeah,
day.
It was,
Yeah. Me falling asleep had nothing to do with this movie.
No.
This movie I wanted to stay awake for, but it was not an option. But yeah, no, this movie's a lot of fun. It's a good one to watch with a group of friends. I think it's a good
Yeah.
party movie.
I think that's exactly why I had so
Good
much
stoner
fun with
movie.
it, because we were all
Definitely.
just hanging out, chilling. We had been drinking all day, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, let's turn on the Faculty. And
This
I'm
isn't
like-
really
I'm
one
like,
that
okay,
I
yeah,
feel
let's-
like. I mean, I guess I could see like watching it by yourself, but like, why? It's a fun movie. Watch it with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
definitely that movie.
You know, this might not be a mystery to some people, probably for most though. I tried to do a review of this a long time ago on a different channel, and those people were so just whatever. They didn't get it, and we just ended up not even being able to really do it in a real way because of them being immature or whatever. And it just put a sour spot on the review for me. And I think like now it's really cool to come back and like kind of defend this movie.
Yeah.
But as I'm here doing it, I also have to acknowledge that some of it's just fucking stupid.
Right.
Some of this movie is stupid. I mean, the shower scene with the old lady.
See, but I feel like every bit of stupid plays the movie up
Definitely.
that much better.
Definitely.
Because it's like, it felt like somebody, not quite like the disaster movie or a scary movie or whatever, where it's just like pure parody, but it is like these things where it's like, oh, this I guess could be a quick little jump scare and it might have gotten you a little bit, but for the most part, it's fucking goof.
Elijah
Yeah.
Wood's acting in this one, you can tell he's not quite there.
Elijah
Little
Wood is a
baby.
literal toddler in this movie.
He at one point goes, "You're really cool when you're not being a first class grade A bitch," and we're like, "Oh,
He's so
Elijah!"
cute. He's
It's
a
really
cutie.
it's an intense moment.
That scene fucked me up because the entire time he's been like, I just don't know, guys. Like, it's real sad.
I'm meek,
and then
yeah.
he's like, could you stop being a fucking bitch? And I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, what is his character change? And then it instantly goes away. But
Well, that's
it's
a
still-
theme with the characters, right? Every character by the end of it has changed. Like that's all jokes aside, that is what happens at the end of the movie. So
Yeah.
people really hate one person who changes at the end of the movie. And let me tell you my argument with that. Okay? Let me sit here and get on my soapbox a little bit. So the Stokely at the end, who is Clea Duvall and is incredibly hot and is goth, right? At the end of the movie, she throws on some like, I don't know, she's sort of dressed like remotely Amish, I guess. I don't know how else you would put it. Very, very conservative, all one color purple outfit, very much like not good.
Yeah.
And here's my argument with it, and here's why I can almost defend it. Every character in this movie had huge changes to them personally because they all had set up this guard. Like this teenage guard of like, I'm not gonna make myself fully vulnerable and let people understand who I am and whole. Like Elijah Woods, in a way, is the only one where it's like he discovered that himself was different. Like at the end, he was like, "Oh, I actually am brave in all these things," right? But every other character, like Zeke, he realizes, he needs to get this aggression out. He becomes a football player. It helps him concentrate. It helps him fuck his teacher.
That was mwah, beautiful cinematography when she's sitting there and she's like,
Oh, I could get fired for this. You should. Yeah.
"Oh, Mrs.
You're going to bleep that out later, right? Do you know how?
Can we bleep out the actual name? Yeah, let's go ahead.
What a fucking idiot.
I'm shocked.
Oh, do it for the meme. No,
Do not leave it in. Do not leave it in.
No.
Don't leave it in.
Don't
No.
leave it in.
Please, producer Lacey.
Don't leave it in.
Save me from a lawsuit.
You just
that
gave
defamation?
producer
Franny,
Lacey
could you
so
hit-
much
could you
extra
hit the
work.
green button, please? Anyway.
I feel confident about that because it made both of you go, "Oh."
But for the wrong reason.
Exactly.
Not because I was like, what a witty remark. I was like, oh, he's coming
I
to
just thought we
dox
were talking
people.
about fucking criminals.
Anyways, let's pivot.
I really hope you edit this out. What the fuck was I even saying at this point? Anyway, the change in Stokely. So the whole time you find out things like, one, she puts up a fake facade of being the certain way.
You know what?
Because she doesn't want to put herself out there. And then on the flip side of
SLC
it,
Punk. It's
Yeah.
got a little bit like that. We
Exactly.
watched them like kind of close together, and
or for instance, like she's clearly into, I think his name was Sean, right?
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah.
Because she's keeping track of the game, she's keeping track of the numbers. Like clearly, as she said, the goth lesbian thing is a hoax.
She says the lesbian thing is a
No,
hoax.
but what
My
you learn
big
by the end of the
complaint
movie is
about
that the
it-
goth thing was too.
Well,
You can be
you
into
learn
science
that-
fiction and not need to dress, need to dress darkly and not need to do this. And I think that she in herself saw, I don't necessarily want to put on this facade because it's not really who the fuck I am.
And I get that, but at the same time,
You just want goth hot girl to stay hot like rest of internet.
well,
Yes.
firstly,
Sorry, it's the
yes.
truth.
Secondly, she never says that her way of dressing, her style or anything is
but
a guard.
everybody at the movie has this transformation, right? And you can infer that by the fact that she went from being the goth chick who was punching this football player the whole time to being his adorable, loving girlfriend who's proud of him for quitting the football team. And they want to orchestrate that by being like, there's physical transformation as well. You're seeing this character change. Same thing with Delilah
But also-
changing. Same thing with Elijah changing. Same thing with Zeke changing. Same thing with Sean changing.
But
Everyone
also-
changed entirely, except for what's her face, the chick from Atlanta.
Oh, the alien.
She's changed a lot.
Mary Beth.
Mary Beth.
I would argue she changed a lot.
Yeah,
She was
that's
always
fair.
that way. There is no change.
No. The reason that they changed her clothes is because Tommy Hilfiger fucking sponsored the movie. That is the reason
I
they
would
changed
believe
her
that.
clothes.
I would believe that if it wasn't Tommy Hilfiger black clothing before that.
It's still they wanted to promote.
What did I say?
more
You
their-
said Hillfinger.
I said it. Is it Hilfiger? What is
Tommy
it?
Yeah.
Hilfiger.
Oh, I thought it was Hilfiger. Sorry. I don't wear brands. I've been poor all my life anyway. That's stupid. Franny,
Yes.
favorite scene from the movie.
I really like the pool scene, towards the end.
The
where,
reveal.
Yeah,
of
the
like,
reveal
like,
of
you're seeing the full scope of the aliens'
Uh-huh.
powers and shit.
when
The
you
full
find out it's
scope of
Mary
the
Beth.
alien.
That's true. We do
The
get
scope of
and
the
she-
alien.
and it's crazy that they had they had all these stars that were going to turn into these big stars, and then they just have one actress who went full frontal in this
Full
movie.
frontal. Good for
I was
her.
like, props,
98.
dude.
And it got her almost nowhere.
Right.
I assume nowhere. I don't recognize her in anything
No.
else. She's probably in something, I'm sure, but I don't recognize her at all.
Yeah, that scene's really fun. But I also have a second favorite scene, and I'm
Yeah?
just gonna say it.
Go ahead.
I really like when I need to consult the board. Casey and Delilah are in the faculty lounge, and he calls her the grade A bitch. That's a
great
fun scene.
It's so stupid, and I love
It's
it.
so stupid, and it's supposed to be like character development and shit, but really it's just dumb dialogue, and it's fun.
There's tons of fun stuff. Like early on, you don't know that obviously you don't know that Mary Beth's
Right.
the queen. But there's things like, oh, she mentions that she's from small town Atlanta.
Right.
Anybody on the planet knows Atlanta's not a small town. And it's just another thing of her like trying to blend in, and she goes for like the most outcast people. The first person she sits and tries to talk to is who? The only person sitting alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think like in the movie when you're watching it, you're not collecting that because you're like, oh, she's new and just looking for a friend. But now you know in hindsight, she was trying to be like, can I corrupt this bitch?
Mm-hmm.
Can I do it? Can I put my little fucking slugs inside of her?
Yum.
That's what everybody wants to do to the goth chick. Anyways.
True. And only if she stays goth. Clea Duvall's not hot if she wears all purple, says the internet.
Fair.
No, not fair.
Such a strong
Fair.
stand.
She's like literally so
No, she's
beautiful.
hot regardless. Yeah. She's always hot.
She was even hot in Argo, and she was just playing like an older business lady in that, and I was just like, Clea Duvall, are you kidding me? Anyway, not the point. Saying favorite scene from the movie.
So probably favorite scene from the movie just has to be the way that they built up that tension in the like snorting scene, and then the fact that like partway through it, like everybody's just fucking goofing. I'm like, that was one of the things that like told me this movie is not taking itself too seriously, because they're like, hey, yeah, this is a really tense scene, but now everybody's high as shit, and
But here's the thing that actually plays into the plot, because later you find out that she basically snuck a little slug finger.
Exactly, and like,
and the only reason she could get
that,
away with that is because everybody was high on drugs.
Yeah,
and the only reason
Right.
Delilah didn't react is because Delilah knew the whole time.
Yeah.
That Mary Beth was actually the queen, and she was just doing what she wanted. That's why she took the sniff then to reveal herself as being taken over. And that's why you see a car slowly approach. I mean, it's all hive-minded, and they never actually expressly tell you that. But you get that from that scene.
And I love,
that's
like,
cool.
I love that I love that from that scene. Like, that's something that it's great storytelling in it. It does a really good job of doing what it wanted to do. And it also, like, when you're first watching it, it's a fun scene. It's a funny scene.
Right.
And then on a second watch through, you're like, oh, this was actually fairly cleverly written. Like, so that's one of those things where I really enjoyed this movie. Even when it's being goofy, it's still a good movie. Like, I had a great time with it. There were little plot things that I was like, oh, well, that's really neat that they did that. It was
still gets a 5. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
but
no,
I mean, you can rid of
I'm absolutely sticking by that 5. I think it's a great 5, and like just like you said, I think that we have the opposite version of rating things. You take how much you like enjoyed it as the thing,
and you do it wrong.
I'm like, I go like, how good of a film do I think this just was, purely like almost without emotion? Because I'm like, I know I get really overexcited about shit.
But shouldn't the rating system always be based on your own personal opinion?
I try to weigh them back and forth.
That's kind of like the only
each other.
thing we have to offer as critics, right? Is being like, this is how I felt about it. I'm not saying I'm joking about your rating system being wrong. I'm just saying, for me, I legitimize my opinion by saying I like it for my own personal reasons, because you'll never get past your biases when rating a movie. Because you always have your own opinions. So
no, and there's stuff that like I try to weigh those back and forth between each other, going like, oh well, like I thought it was this good of a movie, but I enjoyed it this much. My rating should be about in the middle.
Would you like to know my favorite scene?
Yes, I would.
It's kind of a part of what Franny said, but only because it's so relatable to us. There's a scene where the teachers and the faculty are entering into the teacher lounge, and I believe it's Casey and Delilah are in the closet, right? And then you just see them take glasses of water and throw it in their own faces, and I'm like, that's us in the studio when the AC's not on, like straight up.
Absolutely.
That was me when I was chilling in your backyard on Friday. I was like, poof. Meanwhile, you guys got to sit in the kiddie pool and be all elegant and shit. It's bullshit. No, I'm just kidding. It was fine. It was great. So that's a favorite scene just because it's like really funny. And I think that the teachers in this movie carry a lot of the weight of making this entertaining by being these foils and these antagonists and still being goofy and fun to watch. They do a lot of heavy lifting that they'll probably never get credit for. No. And that's why there's huge stars in them. And you got Jon Stewart, you got Selma Hayek. You know, there's huge stars in
That's
movie.
when the like all of the adult actors were going across the screen. I was like, oh fuck, I totally forgot that they were in it because they did just such a good job of supporting the rest
They
of the
basically held up the movie for this ensemble to either break it or make it, and I like that part of the movie. What else did you guys want to talk about with it? I feel like if you haven't seen the movie, like you're not going to get the plot out of this, but also you shouldn't be watching this review without the plot. And to break down the plot is to ignore why the movie's good, because the plot really, it's not what makes the movie good at all. It's very conventional.
It's not even that great.
Even
of a
the way
plot.
the alien dies. It's like,
Right.
oop, the bleachers. Well, we ran out of ideas. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool to watch, but it was just kind of whatever. So is there anything else? All right, let's move on to our little game, folks. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, welcome back. Obviously, I'm here with the gang still, and we're going to play a little game. We're going to play Held Captain Media's fan casting. Now, what we do in this game is we take either popular or specific actors we know and put them in the most iconic roles in the movie that we're reviewing. Do you guys have like a list ready? You guys ready to go? Who wants to go first? It doesn't matter to me. I can go first if you guys are nervous or...
Go first.
All right.
I wanna
Otherwise,
hear
making
yours.
sure you're not going to say something cancelable.
Too late.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so right off the bat, we have the Casey character, right?
Right.
Has anybody other than Franny here seen Power of the Dog? Have you seen Power of the Dog?
Power of the Dog.
Mm-hmm. It was nominated for Best Picture.
Say.
Cody Schmidt McPhee, who plays the young boy in that. He's this wimpy, lanky, Oscar-nominated actor who could totally play the Elijah Wood role, probably better than Elijah Wood did at that time. So for him, I would definitely cast like Casey in like a new age faculty movie. I definitely have like Blumhouse or A24 produce it. I don't think Dimension's even still a thing. So I think we're going to go for a more art housey faculty with like decent comedy. So I would say him for Casey. And then, you know, Saoirse Ronan from Lady Bird or many other movies. I'd love her as Delilah. I think that, you know, some of these actors might come off a little old to you, but you should consider how old the actors who really played these characters were at the time. Other than Elijah Wood. Other than Elijah Wood, who was actually young. So I would say her as Delilah. I'd pick Lucas Hedges as Sean, even though I hate Lucas Hedges and everything. That dude has this weird ability to look either like the smallest dude ever or the bulkiest person alive. So I think he could totally play like a fucking football player and then play off the whole mental acumen trying to be smarter than he really is, but could actually be smart. And I think that's the change I'd make. The problem with Sean's character in the original movie for me is that he doesn't have to be dumb in order for the story to make sense. He could be smart, but we just make him dumb for the fuck of it. Why not make the character smart, but he's just forced into football by other elements? I think that would be more interesting. Trevor Jackson as Zeke, I think he would make a good bad boy turned badass football player. He's sexy as shit, beautiful black skin, beautiful acting premise. I think he is like the updated version of Zeke that we need, because at the end of the day, Zeke's a little creepy, so you have to make him really likable, because he is hanging out with children that are definitely children, and he's held back a year, so he's he's not one. And he fucks his teacher. So we need someone more charming, someone that fit the role better for this time period. I think he did a good job for then, but that haircut nor that personality would not fly in the late 2020s, early 2020s, whenever this would get made. So I'd say him for that. And then Jessie Buckley, who was just nominated for The Last Daughter. She's in that new movie coming out called Men that everybody's really obsessed about in the marketing and everything. She looks to me like a new age Clea Duvall. So make her Stokely. I am fucking in. And I'll probably think she's pretty hot doing it too, just depending. Who wants to go next?
So I guess I can go next.
Oh, by the way, I would keep Mary Beth an unknown. I forgot to mention that. I think that considering she has to do full frontal nudity, and you can find a better unknown actress that naturally has whatever accent you need them to, go with another unknown. I think that that's the best part for that role.
That's fair.
Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
So I went through. I feel like Stokely is kind of my only one that's out of left field. Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. Yeah,
I can see that.
She's young 20-something and like So like that fits for Hollywood making.
Did you see that clip of her spoiling
yeah.
Game of Thrones on the Tonight Show? I just think that clip's really funny. That's what I always
Well,
remember.
no, because it was. I thought the clip of her spoiling it was she like.
Don't say what it is.
Fake spoiled it, and then they were like,
yeah. But it was
I
awesome.
Thought that was hilarious.
I thought that was really fucking clever and funny.
No, so like I thought that she would be really good because like when she's playing those like more like grungy roles. Because I saw like a little bit of her in New Mutants.
Terrible.
And I haven't actually watched New Mutants.
Don't watch
but
New
I'm
Mutants.
Like, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll skip over that one.
Holy shit! I can't even believe you even invoked such a fucking horrific film on this review right now. Continue.
But no, so that's I would put Maisie Williams for Stokely. Mary Beth, almost as a homage to one of our other people for the channel, CL. I put Mary Beth as Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh my god, that's a horrible casting.
Yeah.
You know she can't do a fucking accent to save her life, dude.
Oh, he hates her so much, and I love that for putting that in that character. So for Zeke, actually, I went ahead.
Is this your test to see if he watches? Like
This
he's
is
only gonna bring it up if he watches. Nobody
Yeah.
say anything to him. I want to fucking see. Anyway.
So Zeke, actually, I was like, I loved like. He was like goofy and he was kind of bouncing off the walls and everything, but like he had these moments where he was like, "Oh shit, this dude kind of is like he's smart. He's like figuring shit out." I kind of want to see Jaden Smith as like I feel like he would do a really fun Zeke because I've seen him kind of. I've seen
it's
him.
Interesting. We both chose black Zekes. I think it speaks to like how undiverse this film was at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting we both chose that character.
Just
though.
like
I wonder
how
why.
many 20-something white boys can you choose for these roles?
Well, no, it's not really that. It's just like, why does it have to be all white people?
Yeah, no, that's
Like,
I
why?
didn't even think about that. I was like, oh no, like I think Jaden Smith would be a really kind of interesting
love Jaden
choice.
Smith.
I think
I'd put him in anything
as,
and everything.
as small as Jaden Smith is to me, I probably would have cast him as like a Casey.
I could see that maybe, but I'd put. I say Casey, gonna surprise nobody. Timothy Chalamet.
I think that's not. I think they should be reversed. I think it's better casting if you did the opposite.
Yeah?
'Cause Timothy Chalamet is cool.
Is
as
hot.
Ice. He's cool as ice everywhere he goes.
That's in what was it? Don't Look Up. I was watching him and just watching him be awkward for a minute when he's like, actually, I kind of love God, and it's just like he was just like being a pitiful little puppy dog, and I'm like, I kind of fucking love this for him.
Yeah.
So that's I gave Casey to Timothy Chalamet because like talking about like a fucking young adult teen movie. Like Timothy Chalamet's in the fucking conversation.
Yeah, I got you.
For Sean, this is another kind of weird choice. I want Dylan Sprouse to do new things.
You
again.
know what though, dude? And by the way, he
always
does
a little
things.
bit. He was always a little bit
does
bolder.
things.
I almost put Cole Sprouse on my casting. That's funny.
I was like, I thought about Cole Sprouse, and then I'm like, no, you know what? Dylan was always a little bit fucking like beefier than Cole.
Chunky.
And I'm like, I feel like he would be like great for a football player.
Yeah, that's the best one you've said so far. Because he did this really great movie where he was like an obsessed student and like stalked his teacher. I can't fucking remember what it's called right now. But it was in the last couple of years, and he was really great.
I know that he's just recently been wanting to get back into acting because he fell out of it a lot harder than both him and Cole were like, oh, well, like acting just really fucked us up since we've been doing it since a young age. And Dylan went off and like opened a meatery and like a bunch of other cool shit and just posted pictures of
Cole's
him and his
just been
dog.
in fucking Riverdale forever.
Yeah.
Which is getting canceled. Acts of
Finally.
Zaslav, baby. Bam! Let's get rid of all the dumb bullshit on the CW and HBO. Get rid of that shit. They had superpowers by the end. It's not the point. That's not the point of this. Is that the end of your cast?
No, so I've got Delilah. I would go ahead, just like I want to see Zendaya be really fucking mean for a little bit and then get not quite killed off, but written off real quick, where it's just like almost like that's like you talked about it being an homage to Scream, like having like a really like one of those like ridiculously like
famous people to come up at the top.
and then just like because Delilah pieces out like what less than halfway through the movie, and then she comes back in for an extra second.
She's definitely in over half the movie.
She
actually,
pops
but
in
yeah,
and
I hear
out,
what you're
but
saying.
yeah, no.
She, after the one scene, she kind of disappears for a while. Yeah,
I feel like it'd be fun to have like Zendaya come in there, like hey, don't make too much of a time commitment. Like we'll be able to just kind of like bop you in and out. Not that anybody else that I said wasn't. Fuck it. like it's a fan casting.
All
so
right, we got the idea. Fran.
All right. So I really like the show Cobra Kai. So
Me fucking too.
3 of mine came
Me
from
too.
Cobra Kai. I'm not even gonna lie.
Fuck yeah.
I'm gonna start with that.
Why is one of them Timothy Buchanan?
You mean Tanner Buchanan?
Is it Tanner? I always think
I
Timothy.
have him as Sean.
Shocking.
Right.
He's a good Sean. He would be good.
And then Casey, I have as Gianni DiCenzo. He plays like Hawk's friend.
Oh, the nerdy guy, also good.
Because he's also like he's got a good sass to him, and I feel like Casey.
We know what
has a good
Netflix is going to
sass.
use if they make this remake.
Right.
They're just
I'm
going to
kind of
steal your whole
casting it as like a
cast.
CW show.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then my last one is Stokely as Peyton List, the bad bitch from
You know what?
Cobra Kai.
She
Could do it. She could channel the bad bitch energy.
All jokes aside, like I know you're making a lot of Cobra Kai picks. That is something that could, if the movie was real,
Right.
that would probably be a lot of people's
Right.
first choice.
Right.
I don't know Cobra Kai.
Oh, we'll review it at some point. We're gonna
Right.
have to. It's actually it's
I've heard
elevated.
nothing
It's
but
so
good
much
things
better
about
than
it.
like Karate Kid is.
Yeah.
It's just really good. But anyway,
So Zeke, I have as Dylan Arnold from You, like the most previous season. He was the kid that slept with.
oh shit,
Uh-huh.
you're literally so good at this. That would be so good. Yeah, he was also
Because he's already got
played,
the sleep with an older lady energy.
For those of you who don't know, he also played the boyfriend in Halloween and Halloween Kills.
He's so good, and and I just want to look at him again, you know. And then
What's crazy is he's like kind of old, but he looks really young.
Yeah.
Delilah, I have as Olivia Rodrigo because that's a fan pool. That's to get the new generation in on it.
Oh God, do people still accept Miss Rodrigo? Me and her had a quick beef.
I think people.
Not
Shut
really.
up.
Me and her fans had a quick beef.
And then Mary Beth, I cast completely on somebody I want to see full frontal, and that's Florence Pugh.
There's no way Florence Pugh would
I
ever
know,
do this
but
movie.
like, come on.
She's like actually talented.
I know. That's all I.
There's no fucking way.
I know. I couldn't think of a good one. I think you're right that it has to be unknown.
I think
somebody
just
new.
based on what the character is
Right.
and how you need to play it, like she's either gonna be minimum or maximum. If you
Or-
cast somebody huge, they're instant. I mean, this Mary Beth isn't even on like any of the posters.
Wait, it feels weird to say it because like I see her as a kid because she's in fucking Cobra Kai, but the one that plays the main guy's daughter,
You're talking, yeah. You want her to do it? That'd be crazy.
because she's got like a super innocent look.
Yeah, no, I agree. She could probably do it, but I think
Yeah.
that'd be nuts.
So I've got
Yeah.
a question to pose to you guys. Not quite a second game, but an add-on to this game of if fan making. Just like The Thing, every time they make a new thing, somebody else is the alien. Would you still keep Mary Beth as the alien, or would you want to change it up?
I guess I would, unless they completely changed all the characters. I think that the whole like recasting of it in general kind of insinuates that these are going to be the same characters. But if you're talking about making a new film just with the faculty idea with the aliens and stuff, I would say scrap all the characters, start from the top, and then have it be a different whodunit. Technically, no. But if any of these characters were still going to be around, I would just make the same movie but newer age. So I guess it depends on the intent, right? I guess it depends on what they're actually going for.
Okay.
But if they were going for something new, obviously not. It would be somebody completely the opposite of that.
I think what I would do is I wouldn't change Mary Beth, but I would change like who the other alien was. Like I would change.
You
make
mean
it Delilah? Yeah.
instead? Make it somebody else?
Mm-hmm. I'd make it somebody else. Maybe one of the guys.
Yeah, it makes
See,
sense.
I just love the rewatchability of the Thing, because like if you watch the old one, it doesn't stop you from watching the new one because they always change up who the alien is. So I like the idea of that. So I figured that'd be a fun little thing to implement.
So you'd change it?
Yeah, I think I'd go ahead and I'd give it to, can't be Zeke. I'd probably go ahead and give it to Sean. I think that'd add some interesting dynamics.
Okay. Well, guys, our fan casting. Leave who you want to play in the remake, the fictitious remake of this film being made. Who would you want to play these characters? Even tell us about the teachers. I know the teachers were very iconic with the movie. Tell us what you thought about that, or who you think should direct it. Just leave all your thoughts, comments, everything down below. Make sure to sub. We love you. Have a good night.
Time.